Coming up in this week's episode of Coaster News, a brand new, first of its kind roller coaster has officially begun testing in the Netherlands, and the next step of the construction of a unique new roller coaster begins at Cedar Point. Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Coaster News, and as always got some amazing news from different theme parks, rides, attractions and events all over the world. So let's get straight into the news today. Our top story for tonight, Yoi has officially begun testing at Walibi Holland. And now this ride looks, it's definitely probably one of the strangest rides I've ever seen, especially with that name. But overall it does actually look like a really cool ride, and it's actually pretty cool to see it tested for the first time. But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically, Yoi is a brand new pair of dueling RMC Raptor coasters set to open at Walibi Holland in the Netherlands in April this year. The ride has two coaster tracks, and the two tracks will offer two different levels of intensity. The blue track will provide a family-friendly layout with no inversions, and the green track will be a more intense layout and includes 6 inversions. The inversions on the green track include a barrel roll down drop, a Top Gun stall, a cutback, a corkscrew, a barrel roll and another corkscrew. Yoi is the second ever roller coaster in the world to feature a Top Gun stall, with the first one being Twisting Colossus, an RMC iBox hybrid coaster which opened at Six Flags Magic Mountain in 2015. Yoi is also RMC's first ever dueling Raptor coaster. Yoi is Walibi Holland's ninth operating roller coaster, and their second RMC coaster after Untamed, which opened in 2019. So as we can see from that testing footage, the ride's pacing, considering it's only the first test run, it does look like it has a very nice and steady pace to it. Like, it doesn't look too fast like most other RMC coasters, but it doesn't look too slow to the point where it looks like it's not going to provide any airtime or intensity or anything like that. Which is strange, because you'd think on the first test run it would be running maybe a bit slower than usual. So like on Rapterra at King's Dominion, for example, which has been testing for a few months now, on that ride's first test run, it was literally just straddling through those elements. I know Rapterra is a bit of a completely different ride. It's a B&M wing coaster, and that's a launch coaster as well. But when that launched forwards, it was going really slowly through those first few elements. But we know that by the time the ride opens, that's not going to be the case. It's going to be going at its full speed. Whereas with Yoi, they've gotten straight on to testing it at the sort of full speed that we can expect from the ride. And overall, like I said, it's a very unique coaster. It's obviously RMC's first ever dueling Raptor coaster, and the fact that they've chosen to make one track family friendly and the other one mainly for thrill seekers, I think that's actually a really cool combination. And in terms of like the theme, it's looking to have a sort of nature, sort of forest, like fantasy theme. It's a bit vague what the theme is, and the ride's name doesn't really give anything away. Like, the name Yoi is not short for anything. I'm pretty sure it's not actually like Dutch for anything, so I don't know what it could mean. But overall, are you looking forward to seeing Yoi open this April, and what do you think it's going to be like? Do you think it's going to be an absolutely incredible ride experience? Let me know in the comments below. In other news today, the first track pieces have been installed for Siren's Curse at Cedar Point. And it's great to see that they're finally starting to install track for this ride. It shouldn't be long now. Hopefully maybe couple of months down the line, track could be completed, and that means it's on track to hopefully open at some point in the summer season at Cedar Point. Now, if you don't know what I'm talking about, Siren's Curse, the first track pieces for the ride, were installed on Cedar Point's newest roller coaster this past Thursday. Siren's Curse is a new generation Vekoma tilt coaster set to open at Cedar Point in the United States later this year. The ride will take the records of the tallest, fastest and longest tilt coaster in North America. It will stand 160 feet tall, reach a top speed of 58 miles per hour, and travel 2,965 feet of track. Siren's Curse will also contain 2 inversions, which are both corkscrews, and also 13 airtime points throughout its layout. Siren's Curse will be Cedar Point's 18th operating roller coaster, and one of 3 brand new Vekoma tilt coasters scheduled to open around the world in 2025. So the other 2 tilt coasters opening this year are Circuit Breaker at Circuit of the Americas in Texas, which looks to be the first one to open because that's the furthest in terms of construction out of the 3 so far, mainly because the track for that is mostly completed, or about half completed, should I say. And there's also Iron Rattler at Six Flags Qiddiya in Saudi Arabia. Now though the track for that is already complete, the rest of the park is still being built, and it's speculated that Six Flags Qiddiya could be open around sort of late this year. So it is looking like Circuit Breaker will be the first one to open, but Siren's Curse will be the tallest, fastest and longest in the entire continent of North America. And like I said, it's going to be Cedar Point's 18th coaster. Now Cedar Point, they've never had a ride like this. They've never had a tilt coaster, and tilt coasters are very rare to come by. Literally Vekoma have only in recent years only started reintroducing them back into the mainstream industry. So it is an interesting choice that Cedar Point have chosen to build a tilt coaster, but they also did release an animated POV of what the ride will look like when it's built. Now the POV, it does look a bit sped up, like the ride probably won't be travelling that fast judging by the POV, but it does still look like a pretty intense and fun, thrilling experience nonetheless. So when this ride does open, I do think it will be a huge hit for the park. Now this year is actually looking to be incredible for Cedar Point. We've got Siren's Curse opening brand new, and we've got Top Thrill 2 reopening after being closed most of last year. And it's looking absolutely amazing for them. Also in the news today, and this is some rather sad news that, well, we knew was coming anyway eventually, Walt Disney World have announced a closing date for Muppet Vision 3D. And I'm honestly going to be so sad to see this attraction close, because it was one of the best things that they had at Hollywood Studios when we visited most recently in 2019. But if you know what I'm talking about, basically Walt Disney World have confirmed that the final operating day of Muppet Vision 3D will be on the 7th of June 2025. Now, Muppet Vision 3D is a 3D film located at Disney's Hollywood Studios. The attraction first opened on the 16th of May 1991, and it was the last Muppets project Jim Henson himself ever worked on before his death. The show incorporates 4D effects, audio animatronics, lighting, projections, smoke, soap bubbles and live performers. Now, this isn't the end for the Muppets at Walt Disney World or in Disney attractions, because along with the announcement of the attraction Muppet Vision 3D's closure, they also confirms that once Muppet Vision 3D closes, Rock and Roller Coaster, the park's indoor Vekoma launch coaster, will be rethemed to the Muppets, so that the Muppet Vision 3D can sort of still live on, but in the form of a new attraction. As for the actual show itself, the building, the whole area where Muppet Vision 3D is located, is set to be removed to make way for a brand new Monsters Inc. themed land. The new land will include an indoor Vekoma suspended family coaster themed around the door factory scene from the film. This new Monsters Inc. land is set to open in 2028. So while it is sad to see a classic attraction closed, it's also exciting to see what the future holds for this new Monsters Inc. attraction. We've never had a Monsters Inc. roller coaster be built before. It's been speculated for many years, and it's exciting to see that it's finally happening. And it's still, Muppets will still live on in the form of Rock and Roller Coasters. In a way, it's kind of a win-win, sort of, in a way, just without the original Muppet Vision 3D show. But what do you think about this? Are you devastated that Muppet Vision 3D is closing? Are you glad that it's still living on in Rock and Roller Coaster? Let me know in the comments below. And finally in the news today, Toxicator has officially begun testing at Alton Towers. Now, it is actually really surreal to see that this ride has begun testing But if you don't know what I'm talking about, basically Toxicator is a brand new Huss suspended topspin that is planned to open at Alton Towers this spring. It is located in the Forbidden Valley area of the park and is being built adjacent to the former site of Ripsaw, which was a classic Huss topspin that operated from 1997 until 2015. Toxicator is one of only 2 suspended topspins in Europe, with the other one being Talocan at Phantasialand in Germany. Additionally, Toxicator will be the first ever topspin to be raised above ground level. This will be done by having the ride built on a 16-foot tall elevated concrete platform, bringing the ride's total height to 78 feet. The first test cycles for Toxicator took place last Friday, as shown in a short video released by Alton Towers on their social media channels. Now, they only did reveal like a few seconds worth of testing footage, but that's just to give us an idea that the ride finally is testing, which is great to see because this does further provide possible evidence that the ride will be ready for opening day, which I really hope it is. And we know that these past few years, pretty much all their newish attractions, Alton Towers, have always been ready for opening day. Like Curse Alton Manor, it's been the same these past few years. Like Curse Alton Manor, they didn't announce an opening date for that immediately, but it is after the ride was first announced, and they announced it would be opening the 18th of March, which was the opening day that year. Same with Nemesis Reborn, they announced the opening day for that attraction later after the name was first announced, and they're doing it again with Toxicator. Now, it is pretty much all but confirmed to be opening on the 15th of March. It started testing already. The ride's obviously up and built. It was up and built, set up months ago. Theming wise, we haven't seen like what the theming looks like, but I think Alton Towers are keeping that under wraps for later on, for like nearer to when the ride opens. So, and overall it is going to be absolutely an incredible ride experience. I mean, I know like the fact that they've only added 1 ride with this don't make up for the fact that they've removed 3 rides, including the blades. But I'm sure that this ride will be a good addition on its own, but I do think that this is hopefully a step in the right direction, because this is the first brand new ride that Alton Towers has this decade. So hopefully this is a step in the right direction for them adding more flat rides in the future, because that's what they're in desperate need of, new flat rides. So that is it for this week's episode of Coaster News. I hope you've enjoyed it, and if you did, then please make sure to like and subscribe, and comment what you would like to see in the next video. Goodbye.